Hey, what's happening, Wes?
It's up, Brian. Yeah, man. Having a good day, actually. Feeling pretty good today, actually.
Welcome back to the channel. This is we replaced you with Reese last week, and so it's been like 2 weeks since you've been here.
I didn't watch out of protest. No, actually, I was very busy with personal life things. It's been
Mm.
a bit of a roller coaster of a week. You could not have picked a better week to give me a day off than last week. So, thank you. Inadvertently, I know you didn't mean to do it, but thank you.
Yeah, well, you can thank Reese. He asked me, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's sure. If you want to be on the show, you could be on the show. We're not doing anything. You might as well show up.
But
Uh,
you know when you told me Reese was coming on, I
yeah.
thought you meant like Reese, as in Reese da King. You know Reese da King?
Oh, is that dude? I've I didn't know that's how you pronounced it. I've been saying Rise the King for like 5 years now. Is it really Reese? Oh my god.
It is Reese, and the Reese that you had on is someone that I'm not even aware of. So, good on that guy. Welcome,
Right
fam.
on. Well, fucking Reese the King, reach out. Let's fucking do something. now that I can pronounce your name properly, let's go. Wes, we got a lot to talk about today. Surprisingly, despite the headline of the show talking about yet another sale, we actually have quite a few cool things to talk about. So, you ready to do this?
Indeed, sir, I am.
Let's go. GameCast Chicago getting married in the chat. Hell yeah, leaving some nice messages over on our Discord. Thank you so much, dude. It was like super sweet of you to leave those messages. Congratulations on the wedding. They're gonna play PSVR2 on their honeymoon. That's
I
some
can
real
think
GameCast shit
of.
right there.
I was going to say I can think of no better ways to spend my honeymoon, but I can think of one.
One or two. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, WesDay, and 2 Eyes Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure, but we care oh so very much about your oral pleasure. That's why we put this thing up on podcast services of your choice. And if you're out there alongside Christmas time, who is one of the only people to ever comment on the audio podcast, please say hi. I need to know who out there is just listening to the audio stuff. Yeah, my name's Brian Paul from this channel right here without Parole. And this guy over here to my left, to your right, is Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers.
What up, Game Cats? What up, Brian? What up, Game Cat Chicago? Congratulations. I hope it works out half the time, and I'm sure it will for you. I'm sure you found your true love, and you're going to live happily ever after in PSVR 2. What's up,
Like,
Brian? How's it been, man? I feel like I've been tagging you here and there, and you know, handling business, but I haven't said how are you once. So how have you been, bro?
that is a goddamn lie, and you know it, Wes. In fact, the
Oh, I
very
did.
first thing you said to me yesterday was, "Hey, dot dot
Yesterday.
dot, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh,
That's
that's so
true.
sweet." Yeah,
So here's the reason it didn't register because I didn't really mean it. I was just like, let's poke Brian, and that's the thing I said. But I
yeah.
mean it this time. How have you been?
I've been okay, man. I've been okay. Like I in one aspect of life, I'm struggling, and that aspect is the October horror vibe. By this point, I should be knee deep in horror movies. I watched Conjuring 4 last night, and I was like, it was good, but it wasn't great. You know, it was just like so. And so nothing yet has really gotten me and I tried to watch the VHS Halloween movie. Somebody recommended Channel Zero on Shudder, and so I gave the first episode a shot. I was like, oh, this might be pretty good, but it's like I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there yet. So I'll take any and all suggestions. Leave them in the chat. Leave them in the comments below. But I need something to flip that switch in my brain and be like, Brian, it's fucking October. Let's go. Like, let's celebrate. This is your
I have
favorite time of year.
I have one, and not because I watched it, because I haven't watched anything or played anything since we spoke last, except for one thing, which we're going to talk about in a little while. But my daughter and all of her friends watched Bring Her Back. I want to say, have you
Yep.
heard of this? Yeah,
Yep.
they
Yep.
loved it. They said it was very disturbing and unsettling and scary and gory, but they all loved it. So I think we have, or at least I have my marching orders. If I do manage to find time to watch movies this month, that'll probably be the first one.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Bring Her Back was by the same people who did Talk to Me. And if you have you seen that, the one with the hand? No. All
I
right,
have
listen,
not.
listen. Bring Her Back was good. I think they relied a little too heavily on body horror to make it scary. There was definitely a time or two where I was like I mean, I'm 46 years old, Wes, and I had to still block my eyes like a fucking child because whatever was happening on screen was a little bit too much for me. And I tend to like the more supernatural, paranormal stuff, and I think that's why Talk to Me was something I enjoyed a little bit more. But I think they're both quality movies, and yeah, you should watch them both.
Cool. I didn't know if that they still do like the gore because I know it was probably very visceral for my daughter and her friends because I happen to know they don't watch stuff like that. They've never seen it. This might be the first and most graphic thing that they've ever seen. They don't understand that we come from a generation where these things were just, a dime a dozen every other week. Do they still make these like graphic horror movies these days, or are they more of a rarity now?
Yeah, and that's why I even said the term body horror because it seems like they have found their own subcategory of horror, right? Where it's just like, oh man, this is brutal to watch. So it's still out there, but it's sort of separated itself from most horror movies into its own thing. So if that's what you're into, it exists.
That makes sense because, while we were desensitized by all of those practical effects back in the day, this generation's all desensitized from real life bad shit that's all over the internet, right? Like, so I'm surprised anything shocks them, but apparently something does.
The real world is way more terrifying than any horror movie could possibly. Yeah, I think maybe that's my problem. I'm like, just every day, I'm just terrified. It's like the movie's not going to do shit. GC13, the Diet Pepsi Cat with $10 says, congrats, GameCat Chicago. And Brian, I listened to this podcast, so I'll get it together. So get it together. I'm important. Ah, yes, you are. Well, I mean, I think your importance may be overstated slightly, but you are still important, as is each and every person watching. We also get Dicky1331 with $5. Here, let me extend this. Is that going to work? No, if I extend it, it still doesn't bring it all the way down. It says, it's my birthday today, and what better way than to celebrate fuck, I can't read. I ruin everything, Wes. And what's better than celebrating by watching GamesCast? Bro, you don't, okay. I mean, listen, that makes me happy. It's so sweet to hear like the nice comments from GameCat Chicago that somebody wants to watch us on their birthday. It moves me to tears. So thank you guys for being here, and happy birthday, Dickie.
Happy birthday, Dickie.
What else we got here? We've got everybody wish Dickie a happy birthday in the chat, by the way, guys. Come on. Rally, rally, rally. Comic book guy with the 2 quid says Dreams of Another does have a platinum trophy. Well, isn't that good? I didn't think it had any trophies. Wes, it's very seldom that we play through a game for review or before launch and no trophies pop. Usually popies are chopping. Usually trophies are popping.
Indeed.
And we see that happen. We get the notification, they pop up on the screen, but no trophy list will be live. That happens very, very frequently. But playing through Dreams of Another, no single trophy ever popped for me, and I played for 3 hours until I finally threw in the towel because I couldn't handle it anymore. I haven't even talked to you about Dreams of Another. Have you played it?
No, thanks to you and most everyone else that played it. Like I've had the key for a while. You were pretty quick about giving your thoughts on that one after we got keys. Mm-hmm. And I decided to take a wait and see approach because you know what? Just because Brian Paul doesn't like something doesn't mean I won't like it. And I will play it. I assure you I will play it. Typically the like super like artistic story driven stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say typically, but sometimes don't land with you and a lot of other reviewers as well. But for what that's worth, the same can be said for most of the players out there. But on a rare occasion, these things do land for me because I enjoy a story told in a unique way if it's a good story. It doesn't sound like it is, but I'm going to reserve judgment. But with that said, I literally have How long is our backlog, Looper? It's something like 40 or 50 games, and we're going to try to play through them all before the end of the year.
Oof.
So we're kind of picking and choosing the order we want to go in.
Wait, hold
And
on. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt. Your current backlog of games that are already out is 40 or 50 games?
mostly
Are you
games that are already out. There are some games that are not out yet in that as well. But yeah, they're
okay?
mostly released at this point.
I was gonna
We
say because
didn't
we got
do
15 games coming before the end of the year. So I was like, man, your backlog is going to explode in a second.
we have a plan. We have a plan for it. We're taking active measures, and I like it. I think it's going to be so much fun because essentially, I know you know what our process is, but for those of you who aren't familiar, we do a award show at the end of the year. We call it uh, the show. We call it the 20. This year to be the 2025 show. Last year it was 2024 show. You get it. We do awards. The way we nominate the winners is each month we play all the top releases and we nominate games for games of the year if they deserve it. I don't remember the last one we did was like in February or March, so we've missed every game since then. Um,
Wow.
I was in Boston. It was in March that we didn't do one that month. So ever since then, ever since I saw you, we haven't done game of the month, and we've been getting these keys. These games have been accruing, and now we're in October, and the end of the year's getting here, and we've got all these games to play. So we decided instead of like going back and retroactively doing March or whatever, um, we just decided. I mean, these episodes typically have 8, 10, 12 games on them anyway. Um, we're just going to pick and choose, and we're going to put together good episodes, and we're going to do them like more frequently. We're going to do them at least every other week. We're going to knock 10 or 12 off the list. And anyway, that's a long-winded way for me to get around to saying Dreams of Another, thanks to you and others out there, is not at the top of our list. We will get to it, but not this week.
Yep. I desperately want to hear your opinion on it. I want to hear everybody's opinion on it, right? Because like I just, like I always say, just my opinion, not the be all and all of anything. And like I don't think anything would make me happier, to be honest with you, than to find out that like I'm in the minority and that people go, this is so cool. This is such a cool world to exist in. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with Brian. That would actually make me happier than for everyone to be like, wow, what a piece of shit game, right? Because we want games to succeed. We want developers to succeed. And I like to be wrong when it comes to me complaining about games. And so please, anybody who is interested in it, I honestly do still hope they pick it up and let us know your thoughts on it.
So it would be one thing if the naysayers were just saying, "Hey, this is just really not good. You should probably avoid it. Wait for a sale or whatever." But that's not what people are saying. People are saying, "This is the worst game I've ever played. This ruined VR for me." Brian Paul, we're going to make an exception here and give it no Pauls out of 3. um, so like. I probably would have at least peeked at it if it weren't for these kinds of statements. But with that said, it has not been unanimous. I've seen at least 2 people say that they enjoyed it. I saw one say they rolled credits on it and enjoyed it. And Upload VR, while they didn't give it a positive review,
positive.
They gave it like a middling average review and basically criticized it for VR implementation. Like they didn't really criticize the experience or the game. They just criticized how VR was implemented into it. So I do have a speck of hope that I might find some redeeming qualities when I get in it.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe to Virtual Strangers. Click the link in the description below. Obviously, there's a lot of conversations coming that's recapping pretty much the entire year. So there's going to be talking about a lot of games. And so go subscribe, spread the VR love. And don't forget that they don't just talk about PSVR2 stuff. They talk about all VR. We're all closed-minded over here and stuck in our little bubble, right? We're console warriors. They're not. They like everything. We're not console warriors, but you know what I'm trying to say. Dylan Hearn with the level 2 membership says, any good pro enhanced horror games? I just got a pro. No Man's Sky looks great. Excited to try Gran Turismo 7, but overall VR pro games feel underwhelming. Yeah, I think that's fair. I it's not it's not a dramatic improvement like the PS4 Pro was, um, and you know, with PSSR just kind of starting to roll out on different titles, it's not. I can't even I can't even think honestly. Check out my video that I put out. I think I put out 1 or 2 videos about the PlayStation 5 Pro, and what games are better with it. It's I can't even think of any horror games that are better. I think it might smooth out the frame rate a little bit on Happy Funland.
Yeah, you did mention Happy Funland did see a bump. I don't think it was advertised, but you saw a difference. What about Madison? Was there any change in Madison?
Not to my knowledge, and but Madison I think already looked fantastic, right? I don't, it didn't do anything like with like you know the you know me, I always prefer to see like the shimmer of the lack of anti-aliasing, so I see the hard edges on things rather than a softness that makes me feel like the game's running in low resolution. And so the only complaint I think anyone could lodge against Madison is that shimmering, and they didn't do anything to, you know, super sample the resolution as far as I know. So I don't think we got anything there. But dude, I will definitely be checking out some horror games, and thank you for the reminder, Dylan. I will jump back and forth with each of those to see this month if any of them are better on the Pro, because who knows what could have happened. Games get patched all the time with no notice at all, and so some of these games might have gotten patched to actually take advantage of the Pro. So we'll keep you posted. Wes, I know we're like 20 minutes into the show already, but I kind of want to kick it off with some really, really good news here. I was just talking to Richie from Richie's Plank Experience fame, and also Max Mustard fame from Toast, and he assures me that Max Mustard on PSVR2 after the price drop down to $10 is selling big. It's selling big. The price drop has worked, and people are paying attention and picking the game up and loving it. But obviously, selling more copies is a good thing. What are your thoughts on this strategy, Wes?
I think it is a carbon copy repeat of what they did on the MetaQuest platform. They did exactly the same thing. I think they even like sliced it down cheaper on Quest.
It's like $3,
which is shocking to me, man, because I think honestly that it was the marketing phase of this game that really made the fact sink into my brain that being able to kind of know as we do how enthusiasts think about and react to games and marketing doesn't really mean that you can predict what the sales are going to be, because there was ample hype on this game on both platforms. Everybody was excited about it that within our circle, but it didn't do well, and nobody kind of understood why. But these deep discounts, they make news, they make headlines, they get people talking about a game that no one has talked about in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? Yeah. And when people start talking about a game and it costs like less than a Subway sandwich to pick it up, then people typically do that. And I'm glad for Richie. I hope, and I'm sure that they considered their price point carefully before they put it on there. So I'm hoping that they get the bump that they need to sustain the studio as they lead into this launch of the Plank experience on PSVR 2.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, you know, this is when they dropped this price, it was like, oh, is it going to be permanent? Is it going to be temporary? Is it because it's not a sale, right? Usually you see the regular price and discounted till this date. But this is completely different. This is like, hey, we're going to see what happens when we drop the price to $10, and based on what happens, we'll see how we'll decide then how long to keep it at this price point. So it's a price drop, but the price is going to go back up seemingly when they release Richie's Plank Experience on PSVR 2. That seems to be the current thought. These games, neither of his games are available on Quest anymore. Do you know anything about that, Wes? Both of them have been delisted from the store.
I do. I don't know how much I can say. I don't know if it's public knowledge what happened there. It wasn't, for what it's worth, it wasn't given to me firsthand. So I guess I don't 100% know what happened. But I do. I know what happened there. And I'm to be honest, I'm a bit surprised it hasn't been rectified by now. Typically, these sorts of issues, if what I'm told is true, are fixable. And so I'm kind of surprised that they haven't gone the route of fixing it. But yeah, if you're truly curious about that, tag me after the show here and I'll explain it to you.
Oh yeah. My dream that I talked about, it kind of came to me during Monday's episode, where I was like, man, how crazy would it be if suddenly Max Mustard was just completely embraced by the PSVR2 community, right? Everybody picked it up for the $10 price point, became this massive success, right, at $10, and then and it was enough for Toast to go, PSVR2 community loves it. Let's make Max Mustard 2 exclusively for PSVR2. It's not going to happen, but a boy can dream, Wes.
That would be great. You know what? Everyone should pick it up. We often talk about doing what we can to support devs, and this library was very much in need of this sort of game. We needed a good platformer for this generation with the absence of He Who Must Not Be Named, and they delivered it, right? Like during a period where it was all the rage just to be a Quest exclusive. Like everyone was just being Quest exclusive at that time. And this very small studio went through the trouble of porting this over to PSVR. And again, it didn't go quite as well as we had hoped. So I hope that people take our word for it. This is an excellent game. Probably the second best VR platformer behind the original Astrobot Rescue Mission. I mean, I can't think of another one that's better than this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, everyone should go pick it up. And I honestly, I wish that the Sony platform would allow you to gift copies of games to people, because I would probably buy 2 or 3 of them right now and just gift them if I could do that, because it's such a great price for such a great game.
We're going to jump around a little bit in our run of show, Wes, because Nihilist Ryan, the game feline, is in the chat. What's up, Nihilist Ryan? I'm waiting on his opinion for Dreams of Another, not going to lie. He says, with the $5 tip, says, Duck Hunt. That is all. Well, let me talk a little bit about Duck Hunt VR, Wes, because that's what I played yesterday. Duck Hunt VR is officially out on the PlayStation Store, and it is, yeah, if you can fucking believe it, it is literally Duck Hunt in VR, and not in a good way. I don't think there's just nothing charming about this whatsoever. You can see that everything's like these flat shaded polygons. The model of the dog is really fucking just not appealing. The HUD up there that looks just like the HUD from the original Duck Hunt is the ducks fly behind it. Like, I mean, like. There's only so much to this game. It is a $10 game that should have been sold for like $2, and they are completely ripping off Duck Hunt, and they didn't even. They just, it felt like no love was put into this. I played for about 5 minutes until I failed the first time, and completely lost interest. Brian Bite incoming.
That's good. And I'm glad you said this, because there is a Gen 1 PC VR game that did Duck Hunt well. And it's a great game. And I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's a great game for spooky season, the way that they did it. It's a game called Duck Season. And if I'm not mistaken, these are from the Bone Lab devs.
Yeah, Stress Level 0.
One of their early games. Yeah. We need to petition to get this thing ported over. I know it wouldn't take much, and our community would fucking love this game. So yeah, if you're listening, Stress Level 0, bring Duck Season. You could do that quickly before you even bring Boneworks or Bone Labs over.
Yeah, which is like, where the fuck is Bone Labs? Like these guys were saying, oh, it depends on what the PSVR2 controllers are like, right? Wasn't that them saying it depends what the Sense controllers look like? It depends if it's going to be easy to bring our games over. And then we got the best controllers in VR of all time, and they were like radio silent. Yeah. I do want to. I'm going to bring up Nihilist Ryan again, because he's in the chat saying Duck Hunt's really not that bad. It's literally the NES game in VR. Yeah, but without any of the charm, right? I think if you wanted to do this, if this was the extent of your ambitions, is to bring Duck Hunt into VR, make it voxel art, right? To replicate the look of Duck Hunt. Just use the same character models for the dog and for the ducks, all right? use the sound effects, right, from the NES version, the iconic music between each round when the dog jumps into the grass. These are all iconic things. Give us the NES Zapper as voxels to shoot. Like, capitalize on that charm, capitalize on our nostalgia. Instead, they gave us a half-assed version of something we remember fondly, and charged us $10 for it. Like I said, this is like a $2 game. I'd probably pay $10, happily pay $10 for a voxel art version with that actually use the same music and you know, I don't know.
Is it close enough that Nintendo might sue these people? Nintendo, it doesn't take much for Nintendo to sue people.
It's called Duck Hunt VR. Like, I think the fact that it's called Duck Hunt VR is the first hurdle that these developers are gonna have to overcome. But yeah, no, it is. There is no question that is what it's ripping off. Right, the HUD is the same. The dog does the same thing. Yeah. I wanted to buy it just so I could play it before it got taken off the store.
For what it's worth, Looper says there's a better version of Duck Hunt in Dreams.
There is. I played it. It is so much better. But yeah. Anyway, listen. Oh my god. In all fairness, I enjoyed this more than Dreams of Another. So I'll give you that, Ryan.
That's bad.
But it's also true, which is the worst part. Wes, let's stop talking about bad games. There is a game coming to PSVR2. I'm assuming next year. We don't have a release date for it. It's called Memoreum, and I'm super, super, super excited for this game. It's out on Quest now. Is it officially out? And then coming to...
No, I know the embargo lifted today. I don't know if it's out today. Probably tomorrow. I'll check while you continue to kind of set me up here. But typically Quest games launch on Thursday, so that's probably the case. But the embargo did lift today. We can talk about it.
Good. And we have like a 15-minute clip here that the studio put out themselves. I think it's Patient 8 Games. Is that them? And
and an interesting side note on Patient 8 Games. Patient 8 Games is a studio that sprung forth from a single man who actually began, or at least began his recognition in the VR world as a modder who didn't mod games, but rather modded games inside of the Source 2 engine and Half-Life Alyx. So some of you might be aware that Half-Life Alyx has the engine's open. You can make your own games inside of Half-Life Alyx, and people apply those games as a mod to Half-Life Alyx in the in-game menu. And there are literally hundreds and hundreds of titles that you can play inside of Half-Life Alyx. This guy got his start doing that, and what he did, Brian, was this magical thing.
This is proof that there's a God.
He did the best version that we've seen thus far of bringing BioShock into VR.
Bam! There you take that, flat to VR.
For real. But he did such a great job with it. He literally sold early access to it through his Patreon at like $10 a pop or whatever. And obviously did well enough because he put a little team together here. And after 4 years of toiling, they have a legit game launched on one of the premier platforms in VR.
So obviously, when this game got debuted, we were like, "Oh man, this looks really cool. This is a little Dead Spacey, looks a little horror, looks a little fucking fun." And so immediately, the GameCat community reached out to these guys, posting all over Twitter, wherever there was a post to be had about this game. The GameCats were there in full force. This is why I fucking love you guys. And we were like, "What about a PSVR2 version?" And I think just because they were like, we just need to tell them. Yes, it's coming to PSVR2 and Steam later, right? But they're just focusing on the Quest version. So this game is in development for PSVR2, and it looks like the perfect game for our headset, considering what a dark game it is. I think this is the OLED panel is going to be perfect for these really, really dark rooms. But I haven't played it. I begged Wes to play some before the show, and just to get some brief first impressions. So I'm going to hand over the floor to you, Wes. I can't wait to hear everything you have to say about this.
So, first of all, to answer your earlier question, this game does launch tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. So, if you're interested in it, pick it up then. But I will say, reviews are out there now. There is a pre-order discount on this. You get to save $5 off the $30 price tag if you pre-order it now. So, if you guys are planning on playing this on Quest, you like the reviews, don't wait till tomorrow and spend $5 more. Just go ahead and pick it up. There's a refund policy anyway. If you don't like it, you can just refund it. Just don't play it for more than 2 hours and they'll take it back. Anyway, um, I barely scratched the surface on this. I didn't know yesterday that we would be talking about this today. The
Neither did
current
I.
plan uh, is to talk about this on our next episode Sunday. We're going to be on the air around noonish Eastern time on Sunday. Headline is Memoreum and Titan Isles from the Windlands dev. So
Oh,
tune in
nice.
Sunday for that. Yeah, plus like 7 other games. Um, so yeah, tune in for that. But those are the headlines: Memoriam and Titan Isles. So when you asked me, like literally just a few minutes ago, to get in and check it out really quickly, I was actually quite excited to, because I've been looking forward to this game since they announced it. I think it looks pretty awesome from the promo material that they've put forth so far. Um, so I only got maybe 35 minutes or so in it. Like I didn't play a ton of it. I played through the tutorial. I played through a portion of the first level, I guess it would be. I don't know if they have proper levels or what. But I'll go ahead and set it up for you here. The game opens up and you're like on this sandy beach sort of thing. It's not what you're expecting. Um, Visually, it looks pretty good, but you can tell it's a quest game. And by that, I don't mean that it's oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this on Quest 3. It looks like a good Quest 2 game, essentially. It looks on like it don't look bad. The visuals um I would call good. They don't pull you out of it. There are certain things you look at and go, wow, that looks really cool. There are other things like skyboxes and textures on the wall that are low res and everything. The geometry's kind of blocky. Anybody's played Quest know what Quest games look like. This looks like a good Quest game. Um, but a little bit impressed with their attention to detail with regard to sound. I start playing around on the beach. There's seashells laying everywhere. You pick the seashells up, put them to your ear. They make the echo noise. So like, um, they did a pretty good job with the sound. The spatial audio is all good. Your hands don't pass through things. There's a lot of things that you see with small first time indie devs that they've actually done quite well with here. So shout out to the publisher 2080 Games. Shout out to XR Game Labs. I'm sure they've done extensive testing on this to make sure that they knock out all that stuff. Um, anyways, you're not in this beach scenario for 2 minutes, 5 for me, but 2 for you. Um, and before you get a rude awakening, you start hearing your daughter yelling out your name, "Daddy, Daddy, where are you?" Things like this. You finally like track down through a cave. Honestly, it feels like Pirates VR, which Miles just played on his channel a couple of days ago. It feels kind of like the beginning of that game for a moment. You trek down this like little tunnel thing, and you see your daughter at the end. And when you start to approach her, this black demon monster just spawns out of nowhere and grabs her, and then you're awake. You realize that was a dream sequence. Um, and you wake up in the very and by the way, I'm going to ramble. You know how I am. If you have any questions, just cut me off. I'm not going to stop. Just cut me
I'm
off.
keeping it. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. If the chat has any questions, I'll try to bring those up to you.
So you wake up in your typical sci-fi corridor horror shooter game. You're on a spaceship. Everything's dark. You expect people to be around, but they're not there. What the fuck's going on? There's plenty of context clues to read. If you're someone who doesn't mind reading in VR, this is very much like Alien, like the Alien game. There's screens that you can read messages on. It also reminds a bit of like Genotype, where there's tablets you can pick up and read, and there's audio logs. And for what it's worth, the voice acting so far on the audio logs have been pretty good. Um, but there's plenty of context here with regard to the story. I didn't read all of it because I wanted to get through some action before we actually got on the air. But I did read the initial like first few, and apparently the situation is here. You were on Earth, some bad shit goes down. One ship was able to get away. It's the ship you were on. There's a crew on here, but they cycle out going into cryo sleep. And you sleep 11 months out of the year. You wake up for a month to do maintenance and eat and read and go to the bathroom and do whatever you want to do. Play PSVR2, play Duck Hunt, whatever. So that's the situation. This is your month. But I think one of the things that one of the audio logs maybe referenced waking me up early. So maybe it's not my month. Maybe I got woken up a little bit early because of the bad shit that's going down on the ship. And you do quickly realize bad shit's going down on the ship. You start to wade out into the corridors as you work through the tutorial, and you notice this like goo and slime all over stuff, like growing and pulsating. Again, very standard fare for this genre of game. If you've played any of these games before, then you know exactly what this game is going to be. With that said, playing through the tutorial, it does have some pretty cool systems. Nothing that is new, really, but still, I enjoy these type of games. So I like, having to search around to try to find essentially what amounts to in-game currency. I forget what they call it in this, but you find these canisters of blue stuff, you collect that, and you use that at crafting stations to make various items. So that's basically what you're doing, is you're looking around to find this. And that's the whole like crafting progression, is just Half-Life Alyx style, of Lies and Rain style, looking around for things to plug into a machine and craft. You get a pistol pretty early on, infinite ammo pistol, but it's not like projectiles. It's energy. It's an energy pistol. So it's unlimited. You basically, it's a 7-shooter. After the 7th shot, or anytime in between, you press your A button, the barrel breaks open physically, and the energy canister inside, you can watch it kind of fill up with energy beams. A really cool animation. It looks really good in VR. And then after it does that, you have to manually, click the barrel back together, and you can do that two-handed or one-handed. But they did that really well. There are other weapons, of course. I found a shotgun right before the show, so the pistol is really pretty much a backup gun, but it's used for defense. It's also used in like puzzles. Since it's an energy gun, you can power things with it, so that's pretty cool. A little ways in through the first level, you pick up an audio log of a guy, like I said a moment ago, telling you that all this stuff's gone down, and that he woke you up early so that you can deal with it. He tells you the next place to go. When you're on your way to that next place, some other female character kind of hacks in, so to speak, to your radio, and you can tell she has an evil tone in her voice. But she says she knows you, and that she knows where you're trying to go, and if you need to get the key to where you're going, that you need to do this task for her. And that's kind of what I was working on when the demo ran out. I found my way into a room. Well, I guess before I get there, I did find a backpack. There's a rather large backpack that you find. I don't know how the inventory works in it, because there was only one item, and it was on the backpack when I found it, and it was this like multi-tool, like screwdriver thing that you use to unscrew vents. But I unscrewed the vent, I crawled down the thing, and I found the shotgun in like this tube. It was a weird situation. Normally in these types of games, you'll go into these laboratory rooms. There'll be these giant glowing tubes in the room, and typically those giant glowing tubes will have some sort of alien specimen floating in fluid in them or something like that.
Right.
This didn't have that. This had a shotgun floating in light. So, it was a puzzle room. It was like a fuse puzzle to get that thing open. And that was the last thing that I played. I was trying to figure out that puzzle when you called me.
This all sounds really good, man. It sounds like, like I don't like it. It's hard not to think about Genotype when you watch this. It does it reeks of Genotype. And as somebody in the chat said, they're both inspired by Dead Space, so that makes a lot of sense. I think what I'm looking for when this comes to PSVR2 is probably going to be pretty simple, right? I think I want some of these walls to have like reflections, right? Or maybe just like I saw some of at least one enemy, run toward you, didn't have a shadow on the ground, so maybe a little bit of real time lighting, right? So just like a little bit of improvement, and make sure that it's super sampled to death, so that it's like ultra red matter 2 crisp. That's what I'm looking for. And so, but I don't need this to like look hyper realistic. I'm already really, really happy with what I've seen, and it sounds like you're pretty happy with what you played.
Yeah, well, I like these type of games. Now, I do need to warn again. I know I've already said it, but I am very early in this game. This could be the game of the year. I haven't played enough of it. I'm barely out of the tutorial on it. Again, tune in on Sunday, and we'll have some more elaborate thoughts on it. With that said, it's also an early build. Like, it's content locked right now.
Yeah.
I did notice a couple frame drops in it. Toward the end of my play session, when I was climbing upstairs and getting ready to go through that vent. But I don't hold that against it, because they ran this thing through QA probably 2 weeks ago, and they can't update it until it hits the store tomorrow. So I'm holding judgment on that. It ran pretty well almost the whole time that I played. It looks pretty good. In terms of what I want to see on PSVR 2, 100% this needs adaptive triggers and HD haptics in the controllers, because it's all the gadgets and the guns and stuff that really kind of give this game the uniqueness that I've seen in it so far. It seems very standard fare right now for this genre, but there are some cool looking and cool feeling things, gadgets and such, that make it a little bit unique, make it its own. And I would love to see them use the features of PSVR 2 to accentuate the things that make this game unique.
Well, with the rest of 2025 being jam packed. Oh, by the way, whoever's here, we got some cool shit happening tomorrow and the next day. So keep an eye on the channel. That's all I'm gonna say. But we got so much stuff happening for the rest of 2025 that we've got no more room. I'm glad this thing is it's bound to be a 2026 game. Really, really happy that we're gonna starting to pepper in games in 2026 to look forward to. So I'm now that you've given me enough information, I've seen enough footage here to be excited for it, but also to put it on the back burner and not think about this game again for another 4 or 5 months until we have a PSVR 2 release.
Years.
Jeez, yeah. Let's hope not.
But I don't think it'll take that long. Obviously, they're a small team. It took them a long time to develop this game. It probably will take them a while to port it, as they've never done a PSVR port before, to my knowledge. Maybe they'll hire someone to port it. Maybe it'll come a little quicker. But if they're doing it in house, it's probably going to take a while.
You know who else likes to come a little quicker?
Oh, yes, she does.
The Game Cat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $5 says, "Happy WesDay. Wish I was playing horror games. Alas, the world needs its pizza made." Bro, you're doing the Lord's work. Okay, making pizza for people, right? It's the ultimate form of charity. At least I got a GamesCast to listen to while he's at work. Fucking rock on. I gotta fix my mixer. I bought a new mixer like fucking 2 months ago, and I haven't replaced it yet, because I just know it's whatever happens when I replace it is going to be infinitely worse than whatever's happening right now.
Thank you. Know how old I am, Brian? When you said you got a new mixer, this is how old I am. I thought, I wonder what kind of mixer Brian got. Why do I give a shit? Why would I care what kind of mixer you got? But my wife has a really nice KitchenAid mixer. We got it for Christmas, and she loves it. Yeah.
I see. When you said, I thought you were like, is it a Tascam Porta Studio 4-track?
Oh, you mean mixer? A mixer, like an audio mixer. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about pizza, because you were talking about making pizza, and then because you make pizza dough in a mixer, right? So, yeah, I thought you were talking about making pizza pizza, so we're completely on different pages here.
We had a couple conversations happening here all at the same time.
Yeah.
But such is GamesCast. The Brainbow Connection with the Canadian $5 tip says, reviewer said Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is uber gory and insanely graphic. Woohoo, bring it. Damn. All right. I didn't even know this existed. Is Frankenstein out?
It must be in some set. I mean, maybe people are bit torrenting some Hollywood preview or something. I don't know.
I got to say, like, I'm so happy that our Discord exists, because the number of times that like Geisen and other people tag me in the movie and TV channel on our Discord just to be like, hey, Brian, new horror show, new horror movie, blah, blah, just I don't know how there's so much happening these days, right? This isn't like 20 years ago when it's like, these are the 3 horror movies that are coming out this year. No, dude, it's like, it's horror TV shows and horror movies and just nonstop. And they don't even wait until October. They're just constant. And so really, really happy I've got people that are paying attention to this stuff that can clue me in when I'm not paying attention. And if you're not part of our Discord, then what the hell are you doing with your life? These conversations happen over there 24/7, and we talk about all sorts of shit. We've even got a poll right now. The poll of the day, Wes, cover your ears, is what's your confidence level in flat to VR currently? Because
I love it.
Right? Because it's, I think there are people out there who are like, we expected BioShock VR by now. And so I was like, I want to figure out, because you guys got so much stuff in the works. You guys have so much stuff happening that I think it's a really, really exciting time for you guys and for PSVR2 gamers. But just because, you're excited and we're excited doesn't mean like that's the vibe of all VR gamers. So I put the poll up, and I'm very, very curious to see the results later today.
Yeah, it's exciting times. Obviously, we have the most ridiculous lineup for such a young studio and company that I've ever seen. Like, I can't believe what they're attempting to do, what we're attempting to do here as a publisher and a developer. But with that, they just hired another dev this past week to work on another project that no one even knows about, and it's the biggest one yet. So
the biggest one yet.
It's the biggest one yet.
Oh my god, what a fucking tease this guy is. What a fucking tease.
You won't hear about it. You probably won't hear about it for the next year, but when you do hear about it, most people will recognize the title.
Nice. Very excited. Very excited. It's Postal 3, you guys. Just kidding. Let's see what else is happening over here. GameCatO spreading the GameCatO love with 10 without parole gift memberships. This is not the first time he's done this. Super fucking generous. Thank you, GameCatO. Thank you so much. He also sends 5 Australian and says the secret unlock code that Richie gave him to reveal for Max Mustard is pretty awesome. Oh yeah, there's like a code to like unlock all the levels and shit in Max Mustard. Don't ruin it for yourself. Don't ruin it for yourself. It's not that long of a game, and it's also not that hard. So don't ruin it for yourself. But it's always nice to know that there's cheat codes out there. I miss the days of cheat codes, Wes. Right? Like, what are the best reasons to get a Game Pro or an EGM to be like, oh, I get more out of the game that I already bought?
Yeah. Do you know who else hates when it's not that hard and not that long?
I do.
And my mom too.
I was just looking over there, like looking at the disapproving looks from the bed. I'm like, yeah, we're talking about you. What? He says, glad it's selling big. Woohoo! Yeah, man, Max Mustard. Everybody go buy Max Mustard. Like, again, let's make Brian's stupid dream come true. Let's convince Toast that there's so much love for Max Mustard on PSVR2 that we deserve a sequel. The Virtual Resistance with the level 1 membership says, Wes, please pitch SnowRunner to Flat to VR Studios. SnowRunner.
I'll pass it on, man. We get these kinds of suggestions all the time. And it does make a difference. Most of them get passed on to the leadership who make these sorts of decisions. What's even more helpful is when you guys like literally reach out to developers on social media and start the conversation for us. And let us know where there's interest both on the audience side and the developer side, and that's something that we can typically take up action with, and sometimes start conversations which lead to be more than that. So, yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right, man. This was the headline of the show, but we are not going to spend all that long on it. There is a new sale going on in the PlayStation Store called Player's Choice, and there are some very good deals on PSVR2 games. I sent you the link for it, Wes, and I'm going to bring that up on the screen right now, so people can check out this sale with us. We are not going to go through this one by one. There are literally 100 games on here. However, spoilers. The last 2 pages are kind of throwaway. Let's blast through this. Let's talk about the games that everybody should own. And I'm just gonna kick it off right away here, man. Like when we get 35% off Metro Awakening, that's a really, really good deal. $26 for Metro Awakening, right? And I gave it an 8.2. I think most people like this even more than I did. So definitely consider that one.
No, yeah, Metro Awakening. If you like, so this is interesting. I know a lot of people expected this to be more like a flat Metro game, or if not that, at least like a typical Vertigo game. And it's kind of neither one, but I think what it turned out to be is pretty cool. It's essentially, uh, it's very story driven. Like it's an immersive world, and they're telling a cool story, and the gameplay. I wouldn't say that there's like even a core like gameplay element. There's just like it takes bits and pieces. Like there's some shooter bits, there's some puzzling bits. It's just a very immersive world and a very story driven title in the Metro world. Um, Written by the original author that wrote the original Metro stories, and it's a high quality game. It's a good experience, man. And I think you're right. A lot of people went in with differing expectations, so it probably underperformed a little bit in terms of reviews, and probably is a little bit underrated as a title. So $26 for this all day long. Sign me up.
Arizona Sunshine remake, which to certain degrees I like more than Arizona Sunshine 2. Play through it with a friend. With Plus, it's 50% off right now, $15. Highly recommended, man. This was a game I actually couldn't get into on PSVR 1, but man, they've improved everything. I think it's a new classic. It's an old classic that's new again. Get it, $15. Play with a friend though; it's way more fun that way.
Yeah. So the original one of these was, jank aside, and there was tons of jank in the original one. This is what I taught my entire family and then friends how to play first person VR. The pacing is so slow in the beginning of this game. It's literally just a shooter. You walk and shoot in the game, right, and pick things up. So the pacing's so slow in the beginning. This is literally the game I trained everyone on. So I've like played through it and played through it and played through it. The story's really cool. The shooting feels good in the game, even like the original version. But the remake just it takes all of the advancements that the sequel had and applies it to the original campaign. And I think you're right, Brian. I think the remake's probably better than the sequel.
And I know some people get really confused when we do these sale conversations, Wes. When they're like, "Why don't you recommend Undead Citadel?" Right? It's $24 and it's a great game, and we're looking for the deepest sales on the best games. Right? Undead Citadel's fun. It's fantastic. Maybe not fantastic, but really good. And I'm not going to recommend it in this sale because if you're looking just to pick up a couple games, I'm going to say pick up stuff that's on a bigger sale. And hold off on some of these games that haven't have big deep discounts yet. And with that being said, very poorly on my part, what's your next recommendation, Wes?
Let's see here. You know what? I'm going to do it because you're not going to.
Yep.
I'm going to recommend that these people pick up a PSVR2 exclusive, a PSVR2 classic, the Dark Pictures Switchback VR, $22.49 if you don't have Plus. Take another $3 off of that, $19.49 if you do have Plus. I like this game, man. I liked it more than I think anyone else on this channel did when it came out.
I think everyone else on the planet.
Well,
No offense.
maybe.
No offense. It's a fun game.
It is a fun game. It is quite a bit different than the original Rush of Blood, but in some way, not all in bad ways. In some ways, it could have been better. But there are elements of the new game that I think are good new additions to the game. I love that there's so many branching paths in this game, and that there's a lot of replayability in the aspect that there are like whole like big stretches of track that you haven't seen. Like you would have to play through the game 2 or 3 times to see all of the content in the game, which I really appreciate about it. What I didn't care so much about was a lot of steel tracks. Like you've got headset rumble, you've got advanced haptics in your hands. There should be a lot more rickety wooden tracks like the first game had in it. It should feel more like a roller coaster. Like one of the things I loved about the original Rush of Blood is it was the best roller coaster in VR. Shooting aside, zombies aside, it was the best roller coaster in VR. This is just kind of like, there are some cool parts to the roller coaster, don't get me wrong, but it's more like about making it a rail shooter than making it a roller coaster. And I think that's my probably biggest criticism. But that aside, pretty awesome production values here. The update it got a few months after launch made a real difference in the game, not only visually but with the gameplay as well. And then they added bonus content after that. So yeah, I think this is one of the most known titles of the PSVR2 catalog, and I recommend it gets picked up, especially in October.
They also fixed the load times, which was just very strange how long they were. So now they're much more tolerable. A lot of great improvements since my review for sure. Listen, I see Gun Club on sale. Listen, I'm not a huge Gun Club fan, right? Like if this is great on PSVR1, I feel like we've evolved since then. However, the binary mill, it's fucking killing it. This was such a great port, and I say anytime you can support the binary mill, do it, right? Because Resist is awesome, and Into Black is awesome, and Gun Club is such a good port that, like, if you're remotely interested, this sale, which is 65% off with Plus, is making it what, $14 or so. This is the bundle. This is everything. This is with the Wild West stuff, the SWAT stuff, the Heavy Weapons DLC. All right, so instead of $40, it's like 14. And if you really want to support this developer, but you've already bought all their games, like, fucking pick it up.
Bringing us an exclusive version of Rush, or at least it appears to be exclusive remake of Rush, which I'm so excited for. And in case you're wondering, they haven't said this, but it's so obvious that they did this because we asked for it. We literally went on social media and asked for it, and they said, okay, fine. So yeah, I think actions like that deserve to be rewarded. And when they have other titles on sale, and I think there's another one coming up, we'll mention it when we get to it. We should support the devs as much as we can.
Yeah, and also, listen, while we're on the topic of Rush VR, listen, I see the traffic on my trailer, right? I say my trailer, the trailer that I re-uploaded. I saw that the binary mill had 70 views 3 hours in, and I was like, oh boy. And so I re-uploaded on Without Parole just to get a little bit more visibility, and it's only got a few thousand views. We headlined, I think, 2 different GamesCasts with it, and those have very few views, right? I'm scared, man. I'm scared because it's a game that we asked for, and I am scared that there's not enough interest. I don't know if that has to do with like just knowledge about how great the game was on PSVR1 to begin with, or if like just people are like, oh, it's an update of an old game, and they, and they're just not excited about it. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of interest, and I really hope when the game comes out that like we rally and support it and make sure that there's a multiplayer base there, and that we're playing it on our Saturday or Sunday multiplayer meetups on the channel, because this is the kind of stuff that we beg for, and then when it shows up, if no one buys it, like, we're just not going to get any more of it.
So for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure this is going to be an easy port for them. It's not just a port though; they are remastering it. I would be shocked if there weren't at least headset rumble in this. Like, it makes so much sense.
There is.
They've got to do that.
Headset rumble, real-time shadows, positional audio for in-game voice chat. So when somebody's flying next to you, you're gonna hear them where they are supposed to be, which is awesome. Yeah.
So awesome. So here's the thing with it. Like, I don't think it's going to be a ton of work for them to bring it over. And the people who are excited for this game are literally everyone that's played it. So that's the question. How many people that played Rush VR are still playing PSVR2 today? If most players have played it, most players are going to buy it. If not, people are probably going to wait and see. We could still market it. It could be a new experience for people, but they're not necessarily going to be excited for it today and check out the trailer and all of that because they've never heard of it, right?
Right. What's next on our list of recommendations, Wes?
Well, I'm going to very quickly here say three names, but not talk about all of them.
Okay.
I'm just going to say the name Paint the Town Red VR and $10, and just know by me mentioning that's something you should look at and think about. But how many people here like puzzle games? Because there's two of the best ones on the platform on sale right now. Red Matter 2, which is a technical masterpiece on any platform you play it on, but especially on PlayStation VR2. $16.49 for that one. That's a bit more of a hybrid. You know, it's a story-based puzzler, but there are other elements to it too. Great story. There's some combat and stuff in there that makes it kind of stick out from the first one, but also one of the best puzzle games on the platform, and this one a classic puzzler, The Seventh Guest VR. 50% off, $15. If you don't have PS Plus Premium and playing it for free, $15 is a very fair price. I recommend both of those games at those prices. They're both excellent.
Yep. Hard to disagree with either of those statements. Yep. Red Matter 2 is beautiful. Great story. Seventh Guest. What a great way to bring a classic back to life. Right. Because it's not word for word. It's not beat for beat. I feel like even if you played the original, there's new stuff there to get excited about. But that brings us to page 2, Wes. And yeah, I think it's super easy to just give a shout out to the first two games on the page. Hubris, it's being a single person, high quality sci-fi first person shooter adventure. There's a little bit of crafting in there, just a great exploration. The guys over at Cyborn obviously value high production values, and we just don't get stuff like this on the platform. Very % off with plus $10. $10. Pick up Max Mustard in this right now.
That's a hell of a $10 game, Brian. Like, it was interesting, the reception to it, because the production values are so good that when people saw the trailers for this game, they're thinking AAA game, right? So when it came out, they had that kind of expectation on it. It's not quite AAA quality. Right. I mean, it is in terms of production value. This is a gorgeous game. Still one of the best looking games on the platform. But it's a great little, 6-ish hours or so, maybe 8 hours or so. Sci-fi story-driven adventure game with some decent, I would say above average combat in it, and like some progression, like you can upgrade your weapons and stuff here. It's a really cool world to explore, and a pretty cool story as well. That's a hell of a $10 game, man. So plus full disclosure, my name is in the credits of this game. So if you want to see my name in your lenses, it's just $10.
Okay, hold on a second. I gotta refresh something over here. YouTube is saying we do not have the stream is not going well, and we had some people in the chat saying that it was freezing. So I think we're okay, but it seems like there's some internet connection problems on my end, so be patient, everybody. Over the last couple of days, my internet's just been cutting out for like a minute at a time, but very intermittently. So I don't think there's anything I can do about it currently.
I've had similar issues probably for about a month now.
Oh, geez.
I blame China. I think it's China's fault.
Okay. Well, that brings us to Resist. Resist is looking pretty decent, man. Like, this is not a deep sale, right? Not a deep sale. It's 35% off with plus, and so it's like $16 or so. But again, this is the binary mill, and I just feel like this is you got to play this game to really appreciate the kind of love that binary mill brings to PSVR 2. With this is, there's just depth. There's depth to the building. They give you an open world city to swing around in, like Spider-Man, and like you can actually see in the buildings, and you're not going to see people walking around or like full rooms or anything like that. But they could have just put reflective glass, and that was the end of the story. But like you can actually see in a little bit, in that kind of attention to detail is just so fantastic. It also runs 120 hertz native. We were talking about Pro enhancements. Runs 120 hertz native on PS5 Pro, 90 hertz native on PlayStation 5 proper. Same thing, Wes, just heads up, will be the case with Rush VR. 120 hertz native on the Pro, 90 hertz native on the PS5.
So with Resist, this is a game I loved on Quest. Well, it's not my favorite game on Quest, but I really enjoyed this game a lot on Quest. And by the way, kudos to you for the obligatory Spider-Man with guns reference that we always have to talk about when these games come up. Yeah. Anyway, I like this game a lot on Quest. This is one of the ones that fell to the wayside during our off months where we didn't do episodes and stuff. So I haven't played it on PSVR yet. I take your word for it that it's awesome, and I will know whether or not that's true this week, because this is another one that's on our list. We're going to talk about Resist this week and Undead Citadel on PSVR2 as well.
Excellent. Cool. All right, well then you're up. What's next?
Europe. No, I'm in NA, North America. I'm going to go against again, I'm gonna call one out that you probably wouldn't. And I'm going to call out After the Fall Complete Edition here for whatever it was, the garbage that it was on PSVR 1. It's not anymore. It's good on PSVR 2, and this game is $7. So if you want to have a nice, if you want to have a game where you can go in with 3 friends for just a few bucks and literally burn dozens and dozens and dozens of hours, killing hordes and hordes of zombies that are running at you, and a massive library of guns that feel great. It was this game that Vertigo Games leveled up on. This is the game where they learned how to make Arizona Sunshine 2. So $7, like shit, dude, that's nothing for most people. Of course, not everyone, but for most people, $7 for a VR game like this it's stupid. You should own it already, but if you don't, pick it up.
Yep. Isn't that not even my style of game, but I found the environments repetitive, having to play through the same thing over and over, fighting the same enemies, same bosses, all that stuff. Like, and I didn't really appreciate the upgrades. However, if you have a group of friends that's interested in this kind of thing, $7, man, you're going to get like 100 hours out of it. If it is your thing, it's worth $7 to figure it out. I also think that Vertigo Games killed it in this game with the adaptive trigger support and then the HD rumble, all of that. It feels really good to play this. So I definitely give them credit on that.
And maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you have no friends. Maybe you smell bad and you have no friends. I guarantee you there's still players in the lobby in this game. I've never, with the exception of a few cases when the game was very young and they were still working out bugs, I've never been into an empty lobby in this game. There's always people playing this game. So yeah, $7, pick it up.
Okay, listen, I'm going to go to bat for Pirates VR, Jolly Roger. Right? I've said this again and again. This is a 7 out of 10 game. It is like super average, right? It's fine. But it's also, for what it is, it's short. It's like 3 hours, but they don't fuck around, man. Like, you're never in the same environment for very long. They're constantly pushing you forward. There's a puzzle here, a puzzle there, but not overly complicated enough to like make you feel like you're doing something, right? It's like, and then you're outside in this kind of like open, they call it an open world island, but it's just kind of an open area island. And then you go into the caves and you're underwater, and then you're doing this and you're fighting this way and then you're fighting that way. And meanwhile, solving puzzles here and there and taking in a little bit of the story, the whole time wanting to kill a fucking non-stop talking parrot. These short single player adventures, I said in the review, I'll take fucking 10 of these a year. I just love these, these games that don't require too much of your attention, that are just quality from beginning to end, but not terribly long. I love this. And so for $11 with Plus, yeah, definitely pick it up.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's $10 with Plus. Oh no, you're right. It is 11. No, I agree. This is a good game. I mean, it's an average game. maybe slightly above average. I think if it were twice as long, we would definitely call it above average game. And
Right.
you're right, they don't fuck around. You start out on a beach, you go through a cave, you're underwater, you go through prison cells, then you're into like a cave system where One-Eyed Willie's ship is in there, and then you've got problems to deal with at that point. And so yeah, there's some decent variety. Um, and I mean, a good enough kind of backstory, I guess, to keep you going. Is it particularly story driven? Like, I think that's probably the area it could have picked up more than even gameplay. The gameplay was pretty decent on it, but yeah, I mean, for the price, the production values are good, and it plays good. So yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said.
All right. This is when we start getting into bundles and stuff like that. But I know there's still some good choices here. So what do you have next?
Well, I'm not going to pass it over, and I know we've already filleted the binary meal 3 times in the episode, but we would be remiss if we didn't point out that one of the best co-op multiplayer games on the platform is now 20 to 25% off, depending on your status. 23.99 without, plus 21.50, 21.49 with plus. I love Into Black. This is a great game. Um, so many different aspects to the gameplay here, whether it be the exploration, the movement is amazing, the combat's fun, so much progression and collecting, exploration, massive environments. I think one of the only real criticisms I could have of it is that the environments are a little samey, but with them being samey, they're also fucking beautiful, and it runs magically on the PlayStation 5. Um, this is a game that everyone should own, and they should already have it. I know I already said that about another game, but this game absolutely fulfills that standard as well. It's a must-own title in the PlayStation VR library.
Yep. And with the binary mills cock completely out of our mouths now, we can move on.
Let's do it.
We've got you know what, man? I don't
Do it. You should do it.
Oh, I feel like going back in. I was gonna say Dig VR. I didn't think I was gonna say Dig VR, but I'm gonna say Dig VR because I feel like $8. Like there's something so satisfying about this, and I hopefully I did a good job in my review conveying exactly the experience I went through day to day. Where like the first day I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. This is what we're doing in this game. And by day 5, I'm like fucking cruising around and I'm digging holes and I'm like, like completing challenges and like I like. It's you're in a fucking excavator. You're a digger. You're digging holes and like moving dirt from one place to another. There's something so satisfying about it, man. I don't know what it is. Check out the review if you're still not sure. But for $8, I think it's worth the risk. That's not the game you thought I was going to say, is it?
No, it wasn't. Because surprisingly, and I know it's a bit of a cliche to mention this game during sales because it's in every one.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to walk past the best rhythm game in all of VR, Thumper being $6 if you don't have plus. What is it? $5 if you do.
Yeah.
This game is awesome. It's awesome anywhere you play it. It's the best on PlayStation VR2. The OLED panels make this game look awesome. The headset and controller rumble make this game feel awesome. And I've loved this game since I put on my very first VR headset, and I still love it. And I could pick it up right now and lose an hour in it very easily.
Yeah, and actually, it's perfect game to bring up during Spooky Month because it has a horror vibe to it. You're a chrome beetle cruising through hell, and I mean the bosses just tower up over you and everything, and they're big demons and fucking. It's really good stuff. And honestly, something I did not expect on the PSVR2 version was how well they implemented the adaptive trigger support. Because when you grind that fucking beetle up against the wall, it's like you feel like the controller's gonna break, right? It like not only like vibrates like crazy, but the adaptive trigger goes like so fast that you feel like you're breaking the controller, and it feels amazing. I was like, this really almost to the level of like when Astrobot showed us the demonstration of like all the different things the controller could do. I was like, this was not in that demo. That's for sure. I never thought I was going to break the controller controlling Astrobot. This shows you just how capable the Sense controllers and the DualSense are for this kind of stuff. Very, very cool.
And I have a real appreciation for that, but that kind of build quality in the controllers after years of having Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons and MetaQuest controllers have the thumbsticks fell in them, to have something like this that the thumbsticks work, but the triggers are just so fucking next level, and the haptics are so next level. I sincerely appreciate it, and games like this take full advantage of it. So again, go put your $5 down. It's worth it.
My buddy Mikey will get mad if I don't bring up Iron Guard because it's like his favorite game on PSVR2. I think it's great, and I think you should definitely get it while it's cheap, $10 with plus or less, and get ready for Iron Guard Salvation, the sequel, which is going to be supposedly, if all goes according to plan, coming to PSVR2 this year. It's still 2025, doesn't have a release date. Might be this year. Holy shit. But I'm gonna sneak another one in here and say Arcade Paradise VR is fantastic. I love Arcade Paradise VR. I think they did an amazing job with the port, and great, surprisingly good story. That's not what I expected. I thought it was gonna be like, arcade management simulator type thing. But man, it's so much more than that, and it goes as deep as you want it to, and with the positioning of the games and how you market everything, and even you playing a game in your arcade will generate more revenue because people seeing you play it will convince them that they should also play it. And you put games that are less popular next to more popular ones, and so like those get more recognition. But just honestly, just playing through and playing the games and experiencing the story it was something that I didn't expect to fall in love with. And so for $8, again, this is in my top 25 personal list, top 25, hands down, one of my favorites.
I'll say that it was better than I thought it was going to be, because if you had watched like the promo material before this game came out, you would have thought that this game is a laundromat simulator, and you would have been absolutely correct to think so, because that's actually what it is. You have to spend like the first hour of the game cleaning toilets and doing laundry. That is surprisingly not that bad. Like it's a fun little mini game thing, because it's more about management than it is about the actual tasks that you're doing. It's about management, getting those first dollars earned so you can open up your first machine. But after you get the first one, it quickly leads to the second, third, fourth, and then before you know it, you have an entire arcade going on. And you're right, the story is what kind of sets it off, because it's kind of this kind of I'll show dad type thing, where your dad wants you to just be the responsible laundry guy, and you're like, no dad, I'm going to be successful doing it my way. And other than all of that, I really love the vibe of this game. Not only like the retro vibe, but the soundtrack is awesome to this. So it's a better title than you think it is, except for Brian. It's a worse title than he thinks it is. You think it is.
I'm getting that impression. I think of this game too highly, but like a lot, I see some love for it in the chat. I'm gonna go to the next page because Black Hole Pool isn't that good. It could be better. It could be. Okay, let's go a little bit faster on these. Listen, Stilt for less than $10, absolutely, give it a shot. I know it might not look like your jam, but a first-person platformer, it's more fun than you think it is. Check out my review. You're up.
Hell Sweeper VR, a game that was garbage when it launched on PlayStation VR2, a game that they spent the better part of a year just to make it better. And boy, did they make it better. What's it, 3-player multiplayer in this thing now? The evolution of the Sirento movement system. You said be faster, so I'm going to leave it at that. 1749. If you're not on Plus, it's $14 if you do have Plus. So amazing game. Pick it up.
90s Extreme Skiing. This is the only skiing game that we have, and it's actually a lot of fun in multiplayer. It's like getting to punch each other out. It brings back some Road Rash vibes. I think we're getting DLC this Friday, I think, free DLC. Like it is, there's a ton of content here, and if you got a couple friends to race with, on my own, maybe nothing great, but with friends, it's a blast. I laugh a lot, and I think laughing when you're playing with friends is a clue that you're having a good time. So definitely pick it up. Less than $12 with Plus.
Fisherman's Tale 2, $8. Only a couple few hours in this game. It is unique in it's a perspective based puzzler like the original Fisherman's Tale was, but it's not the same hook. It's a different type of perspective based puzzling. It has a surprisingly heavy story and a lot of Easter eggs that tie into the first one. I enjoyed this game. I thought it was pretty fun, and $8 is not a lot of money.
Man, I really liked Border Bots, but I fell off of it after a couple hours, so I'm not going to say that. The Last Clockwinder, I do think, however, is fantastic for just $10. It's 60% off. Man, very cool, very cool. It brings to mind Transpose, where you have to like basically create like duplicates of yourself working together in order to, meet your goals. But we don't have Transpose because what the fuck is going on, Secret Location? So we're going to go with The Last Clockwinder. Great game. Also very pretty game.
Yeah, high production value and a great story-driven puzzler. I'm on the next page. I know there's probably others on that page you want to talk about.
Real quick, Bridge Constructor Studio. Somebody asked in the chat, "What do we think of it for $1.19?" I don't care about this game. It was not as fun or inventive as I wanted it to be. But for $1, go buy it and see if you like it. It's $1. Okay, next page.
I am going to tell people to give Towers and Powers a shot at nice. $8.49 or what? Math. I can't math right now.
It's not that much.
A little bit less. A pretty decent tower defense game for VR. And you know what? It's so cliche to say, tower defense games aren't my thing, but this one's pretty good because it's in VR. I've said that about most of them that I've played in VR. So maybe tower defense games are my thing. But this was one of them. This was a good one. Not the best one, certainly not the worst one. But a game that I played for longer than I expected to. And solid title for $8.
Affected Demand is only $5. It is October, you guys. This is just like a seminal horror title. It was big on PSVR 1. It's got even more content on PSVR 2. It looks even better on PSVR 2. Absolutely pick this up for $5. Especially for the season. When your friends come over, this is a very, very simple game. You don't need to know how to play VR games. Just put them in it and get them scared and show them how terrible VR is. $5.
Aka R. Jeff Minter plus Atari now drops the Atari price tag and comes down to the Jeff Minter price tag. $6. As is the case often with Jeff Minter games, you might not get it at first. It is a hard game at first. But after you play it for a while, the concept will click, the game will click, and it will be addictive and trippy and has a lot of those elements in it that you love about Jeff Minter games. So $6, check it out.
Thank you for reminding me about Jeff Minter because I've been meaning to play iRobot forever, and I think it's also on sale somewhere here. So I might pick it up and give it a shot. I've heard it gets kind of addictive.
It is on sale, and I haven't played it either, but I am playing it this week, and we're covering it on Sunday.
Fantastic. Stay tuned. Watch Virtual Strangers, everybody. Man, I don't see much going on here. I've owned Crime and Mercenary Tales for like a year, and I still haven't even started it up.
Oh, really?
Do you have any opinions on that?
Should have been a little better, but not bad. I think it got a bum rap from a lot of people. It is short, episodic, story-driven things with cel shaded graphics, but some of the stories are cool. Some of the environments are really cool. Some of the boss fights are really cool. My problem is when I played this on PlayStation, it was I got to add a game breaking bug, completely stopped me in my tracks, and I just didn't go back to it. I had played it on Quest before though, and I think it's better than a lot of people give it credit for. I think the price tag at $11 is probably about what it's worth. It's probably about a $10 game is what it's worth. So it's right around in that area now. So if this looks interesting to you, I don't think you'll be too upset with dropping that money if they fix that fucking bug, which I can't confirm or deny.
All right, you're up next. Are you on the last page or are we still on page 4?
I don't see anything to talk about there. Yeah, we're on the last page.
All right. Oof. The last page is pretty rough.
Yeah, it is.
Is Cave Crave not on sale all on its own?
No, it looks like it's in a bundle. I don't see it by itself.
Let me see how much it's going for by itself, because I don't want these other things. I just want Cave Crave. $14 on its own, $15 on its own. I wish Cave Crave was just on sale for like $10 all by itself, and then I would recommend it. But in these bundles, no, thank you. We did it, Wes. Congratulations.
We did it.
Yep. Jason RS says, have you seen the Jeff Minter collection? Yeah, the Lamasoft story or whatever it's called. I've got waiting for me to play on Switch, and then I also pre-ordered the Evercade collection of Jeff Minter stuff, so that I can play it on my little bar top arcade next to me here. So, oops, that's not the button I wanted to push. Yeah, a lot of love for Jeff Minter here, man. And there'd be even more love for Jeff Minter if he brought Polybius.
That's exactly what I was saying. It's time. It's time for it to happen. We weren't ready for Polybius to come to PSVR2 when PSVR2 came out. Nope. We all wanted it for free, and he said, "I can't do it for free." Mm-hmm. And at that time, that people didn't like that. We're ready for it now. We're ready to pay for all the games now. So, Mr. Minter, somebody send this to Mr. Minter. Please, we will pay full price for Polybius if you'll just port it to PSVR2, please.
Yep. And no disrespect to any of his other games. That just happens to be, in my opinion, the best one that I've played.
By far. That's a great game. That's one of my favorite VR games.
Okay, let's tackle some tips. Then we'll get to the 4-minute challenge and get out of here. We got Comic Book Guy with the 10 quid. Thank you for your continued support of the channel. He says, as someone who loves simulator games, it is disappointing. Games like Train Sim World don't have a VR mode for the PS5 or PC versions, as they have more routes and meta is only about routes from New York. Oh, okay. So there's a version of this he's saying on Quest, I guess, right? But it's like not the full game. Is that what he's saying?
I didn't hear the first part of it. What game are we talking about?
He's talking about Train Sim World. He says, as someone who likes simulator games, it's disappointing that Train Sim World doesn't have a VR mode. Man, it's I don't know anything about these games, and I didn't even know that there was a version of it on Quest or on a meta headset. So my apologies to you, Comic Book Guy, but I am disappointed on your behalf. I hope that's fair.
Yeah, I have no clue. Sorry. I have no idea anything about that game.
Every game should be in VR, though. Every game. Just push the button. Come on, Lloyd in the basement needs to flip the switch and turn everything into VR. I want to talk to Samson143 VR with a $2 tip. Says, hope there's a big rush for Rush. Yeah, let's try to make that happen. We really need to make that happen. I'll be so disappointed if the game we wanted them to bring over to PSVR 2, more than Resist, more than Gun Club, more than Into Black, if it doesn't sell big, I'm going to be really, really sad.
Dude, Sundays are going to be set off, dude. 12-player multiplayer lobbies in this thing. Come on, bro.
Right. Sleep Mute with the Canadian 7 says, late to the party. My flyer horror recommendation for Brian is Mulholland Drive. Oh, nice. Not pure horror, but super unsettling and scary nonetheless. Yeah, man. Why am I forgetting the director's name?
David Lynch.
David Lynch. Thank you. Oh my God. I watched him do I watched David Lynch's weather report for like 2 years straight. It's embarrassing I forget his name. Huge David Lynch fan. And I've seen Mulholland Drive. It's been years though, so maybe it's time to revisit it. I don't think I've seen Mulholland Drive in 15, 20 years. Actually, the thing I was trying to do most recently with David Lynch was rewatch Twin Peaks. And man, I'll tell you, man, something about that aged phenomenally, right? It feels like a product of its time, but at the same time, it's just so weird, right? Every character feels like a little bit out of place, like and for whatever reason that just transcends decades. I don't think David Lynch stuff ever goes out of style.
I agree, and they're all in their own way a product of their time, such as The Lost Highway, which I also love. Great David Lynch movie of my youth, the one that came out during my youth. That's the one I discovered him on, believe it or not. It wasn't like Eraserhead or any of that stuff. I found out about all that stuff after.
All right, man. You know what time it is? It's time for a 4-minute challenge. That's when I get to pick a game. I feel like I haven't picked a game in a while. This feels good. And Wes and you guys out there, try to figure out what game it is. You only got 4 minutes, but an infinite number of yes or no questions to ask to figure out what game it might be. It's PSVR1 or PSVR2. How many games could it possibly be? So make sure you ask good questions in the chat, you guys, and then based on the answers I give, suggest good games or any game. It could be a bad game that it might be. Are you ready, Wes?
I am as ready as I typically am, which is not much.
Not ready at all. Fantastic. All right, I think I'm ready. I get the store listing open, all this stuff, good to go. Awesome. Let's go. On your mark, get Des. Go.
PSVR 1?
Yes.
PSVR 2?
No.
So an original. Is it on other VR platforms?
Yes, I believe so.
West?
I believe so. I'm looking it up, though. Keep asking questions.
Steam?
I believe so. I'll check.
Most likely all platforms. Gen 1 VR game. Is it playable flat?
Yes, with an asterisk.
Okay, so there's a flat version, kind of. Or either that or this is a VR mode of a flat game that's available on all platforms. So that's interesting. Think about games on Quest, Looper, that are playable flat because there aren't that many games on Quest that are playable flat, but there are some. They just escape me right now because I haven't had much sleep. Is this developed by Resolution Games?
No. Also, I don't think this is on Quest, and I don't know if it's playable in VR on Steam. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, so it's playable flat on Steam, but maybe not in VR, and not
Correct.
playable on Quest. So scratch everything I said, Looper. That does not apply. So not on Quest, is on Steam, but probably maybe don't have VR support on Steam. That's interesting. So VR exclusive to PSVR 1. Is this a first-person game?
Yes.
Is there full locomotion?
Yes.
Okay. I would assume then. Well, no, let's not assume. Is it a horror game? I should ask that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a horror game. Okay. Is this studio a Sony first party studio today?
No.
So this is not from Firesprite. Is this based on a known IP?
No.
No. So this is not Don't Knock Twice.
Correct.
And it's not Home Sweet Home either because Home Sweet Home either is playable in VR on Steam. So we have a horror game. It's first person. Does it use move controllers?
No.
No. So this is a gamepad game then. It's used DualShock?
Yes.
So it's a DualShock horror game, only playable in VR on PlayStation, but flat version on Steam. Asterisk. Is it zombies?
No.
So not a zombie game. This is, I guess, then like a more classic horror game. Is it? Does it have combat in it?
No.
It's a puzzle game.
Yes.
Well, this is a horror puzzler. That's based on flat. Now, is it a good game?
It's rough, but I enjoyed it.
It's from an Asian studio.
Oh man, I think so. Yes, but I feel bad if I don't know the exact answer.
Does it have like a weird locomotion style in it?
Not to my recollection.
So it's not like Paper Dolls.
No.
No. We already did Don't Knock Twice. It's not RE7. I don't think. It's not developed by Capcom, is it?
No. Nope.
It's not.
It's
not that.
very indie.
Very indie. Is it on sale right now on PSVR 2? No, it's not on PSVR 2. Never mind.
Right, and it's not on sale.
Is it a sequel?
Nope. You got 5
Does
seconds.
It have a sequel? Does it have a sequel?
No.
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 Shit.
All right, one more question and a guess. Let's go.
I'm stumped. I forfeit. I don't know. I have no clue.
No way. Yeah.
Well,
right.
no, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything that fits the criteria.
All right. Well, released February 27th, 2017, just out of the launch window of PSVR1, published by Oasis Games. I do not know who the developer is. I'm sorry about that. This is Dying Reborn.
Dying Reborn. I remember Dying Reborn. I did not play Dying Reborn, but I do remember it.
Dying Reborn, famously a flat screen game with 6 levels. For whatever reason, this is only 3 of those levels in the VR version. It was a separate purchase. It was, yeah. I think they definitely tried to make a game that closely resembled the original Saw movies, and I think they actually did okay. Like it's it's a fun little escape room, or 3 fun little escape rooms. I enjoyed it, but it was rough.
That's interesting. I would have got that actually if I had been on my game today. I'm actually, I know you can't tell it by my forced energy level here, but I'm actually very tired and having trouble thinking straight. But I'm typically pretty well versed on PSVR1 horror games, even the ones I haven't played. But good one, man. Good deep cut for October.
And it's so funny looking at this. I was like, man, part of me goes, oh, did we not know how good we had it on PSVR1? Some of these games looked, and this wasn't even the best example of how good games could look, but like this looks pretty fucking good for a little indie game, right? I mean, ignoring the click turn that's driving me crazy even just watching this review. Yeah, it looked pretty good.
And how awesome is it that PSVR2 still remains the standard for horror games in VR? It just keeps going. It keeps going. Wells Interactive announcing the see, I told
Made
you,
of Scare.
man, using Made of Scare last week. A game that I wanted in VR when it launched flat, but we're getting it now. So thank you, Wells Interactive.
Hell yeah. Right, and I love that it's coming out in November, right? After all of the October spookiness is over, it's still like, oh no, hey, it's not over, not quite over yet.
Yeah, that's when we're gonna get the Affected game too, November next year.
Yeah, you mean the Fallen Planet one? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
Affected the Asylum.
Right.
Yeah,
Affected the Asylum. That's it.
Yep. Hold on a second. I don't want to wrap this up before we check out our last tip, and that's from Alejandro D. 2Y Underground Stranger Game Cat with the level 3 membership says, I also discovered a Lynch with Lost Highway. In talking about Lost Highway, today I got tickets to watch 9 Inch Nails live for the first time, which is one of my favorite bands. As always, thank you for everything you do.
They're killing it. I've seen a bunch of 9 Inch Nails clips on YouTube lately because they are touring. I've seen them twice myself, way back in the day. And it's a great live show. They've always been great live. And shout out to Robin if you're watching this, which I know you're not. But the guitar player, Robin from 9 Inch Nails, working with the team of Here They Lie to make a horror game. There's a demo out on Steam right now. So,
remind me what that one's called, because I know I've got the trailer here. Oh shit! Why did I ask you?
Yeah, no, it's just let me think about it for a second, and I'll get it before Looper does. Probably not, but Sleep Awake.
Oh man, I actually typed in sleep in my. I don't have the trailer.
And there's a demo on the store, and it's a Unreal Engine game. So who wants to see Wes use his 5090 to stream the Sleep Awake demo on his channel someday in the next week or two?
More than that, I want to see you use your influence to get that shit over on PSVR 2.
I made a legit effort, and there's a story behind that. And I'm not saying it might never happen, but there were conversations. I'll say that.
Okay. I'm going to pretend that's a positive instead of a negative.
I did what I could. You can only do so much, and I did what I could.
All right, you guys, thank you all so very much for hanging out with us today. A pleasure as always, and also thank you to Wes for being here. Also a pleasure as always. Nice to see your triumphant return after a week off. Make sure everybody go subscribe to Virtual Strangers. A lot of content planned, long form content, it sounds like. So I am all in on that. So click the link in the description below. Go subscribe to Wes and his friends that cover all VR, not just PSVR 2. Also, shout out to everybody who supports this channel financially, whether it be on patreon.com/withoutparole games or over here by being a member or tipping during the show. Or you know what? Fuck all that nonsense. Money's stupid. Thank you for being here and being part of this awesome community. You guys, if you didn't show up and hang out during the show, we probably wouldn't do a show. This is great. This is awesome. I love it. But there's also a bunch of people who sit back and watch the show and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there. We love you just as much. Happy Wednesday, Wes.
Happy Wednesday, Brian. Happy Wednesday, cats. So good to see you all again. I'll see you soon.
Let's go. Pietrek F hitting us up with a tip at the absolute last minute, which is a great conversation that we can have while I get the this day and without Parole history up and running. With the 12 plantains, he says, an either or question: all PSVR 1 to PSVR 2 conversion, or Grand Theft Auto 6 PSVR 2? So do we get all the games that never made it over to PSVR 1 ported over to PSVR 2, or just Grand Theft Auto 6 on PSVR 2? Which one would you take?
I would have to ask questions. Do we get proper do we get proper upgrades? Is
Straight
it going to
ports.
support the new features? Straight ports.
Straight ports.
Do I get Starblood Arena?
Yes. And yes, and you can play it multiplayer. I'm answering the questions for Pietrek.
Yeah, I think I got to take the PSVR 1 library. I got to get Here They Lie on PSVR 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of selfishness in my answer, honestly, because I think Grand Theft Auto 6 on PSVR 2 would sell so many headsets, right? I think that's one of the few games that could actually move the needle.
Grand Theft Auto 5 online. Grand Theft Auto 5 online in VR. Mm-hmm. That's the singularity. That brings the fucking world into VR. Yeah. I don't know why all the tens of millions of dollars that they invested in the first generation, nobody ever had that bright idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, I feel very selfish for saying that I'd rather have all the PSVR 1 games that never got ported over on PSVR 2, right? Because a lot of it's like stuff like Immortal Legacy, right? The stuff that we was bringing, or Here They Lie, like you said, like, right, which isn't going to move the needle at all. Like if I was answering this question solely for the benefit of PSVR 2's sales and viewers or customer base, that kind of stuff, the obvious answer is Grand Theft Auto. But there are just too many games left in last gen that I desperately need. We'd get Astrobot. We'd get Astrobot Rescue Mission on PSVR 2, Us.
Dude, think about Golem with headset haptics and the controllers, dude.
Oh my god.
How good would that be?
That would be so good. I loved Golem.
The persistence. I'd love to have the persistence in this fucking OLED headset. That'd be awesome.
Yep. Also, Ghostface Gamer Cat with the 1337. Thank you so much, my friend. He says, supporting the channel financially. Oh, man. You guys are so sweet. All right. I think I've got this day and without Parole history. We're going to go all the way back to the past. We're going to go October 5th, 2022. So 3 years ago. Are you ready for this?
Let's see.
Here it is. The headline being more PSVR 2 rumors about Half-Life. Alex, we gotta pull this apart one headline at a time. More PSVR 2 rumors about Half-Life, Alex, from 3 years ago. This is before PSVR 2 was even out. What do we have? Is there any chance remaining that we're getting this game on PSVR 2?
There's always a chance. I wouldn't call it a very big chance. I think that ship has pretty much sailed at this point. Now, I don't think that it's entirely impossible, though. I think that could be on even the next generation of PSVR headset. If we get a 3 with the PS6, which we might not, we might be playing PSVR 2 all the way through the 6th generation. I don't think so, but it could happen. I think we could get it then. Like it's that significant of a game. You could never write it off. They could bring it 10 years from now. Yeah. But will they? Probably not.
I wonder if they would be interested in doing like the Sony strategy where it's like they when Horizon 2 is about to come out, they bring Horizon 1 to PC, right? And it's like, oh, look at here, we're sharing this, but it's kind of old news for the people who are in the know, right? And so maybe if they were ever to do like another big VR game, another big Half-Life VR game, if they'd be like, okay, well, you can have our old one now, you know?
It's interesting, man. The landscape is changing so much in gaming right now. You got Xbox looking like they might not do another console. You got Steam looking like they are going to do a console. And then the next Steam headset's going to be a standalone, most likely, but it's going to play Steam VR. It's not going to play Quest games, or it will play the Quest games, but it will also play Steam VR. Um, Everything's changing, Brian, is the point. And
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to speculate. Like if they're going to become a real console competitor over the next year or two, or I mean, decade or two, before consoles go away forever. Um, it makes you wonder how these like software agreements that have been going on with Sony coming into PC over the last couple of years. I wonder how that would be affected. It's an
Mm.
interesting question.
Yeah. Again, when Sony revealed the PSVR 2 PC adapter, and they just showed Half-Life Alyx on the screen, they could have shown anything, but they showed Half-Life Alyx. I was like, you don't just do that without some kind of agreement. And I feel like we still haven't seen the results of that agreement yet. So do
Well,
I care that much? I don't know. Uprise and Rain is coming. That's good enough, right?
talk about that soon.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
we will.
but no, I mean it kind of makes sense. Like the obviously to bring the PSVR2 support to Steam, you have to make an agreement with Valve. And how many games can Valve let you use to promote that? Like Half-Life Alyx is the one. That's their one VR game, unless they're going to put you in like Aperture Hand Labs or something like that that nobody even knows about.
And then our secondary headline is what the fuck is going on with Do Not Open, which I think is hilarious. Like, Do Not Open was this really, really difficult puzzle game. And I tried to play it on the flat screen and it was fucking impossible. Right? I'd taken out pen and paper doing algebra. Right? It was even worse than the whole game felt more difficult than that one last labyrinth puzzle, where like you had to know calculus to solve it.
Yeah, I tried not to think about that. I saw it on the sale and I wanted to take a moment just to curse about that puzzle again. But I thought I'd made it out and you pulled me right back in, Brian.
Yep. But don't Do Not Open and playing it on the flat screen. It was like this would be impossible unless you give me an actual like notepad in VR with a pencil, right? Something to actually work out these puzzles with in game. This is gonna be a terrible VR game, and then it turns out that the studio recognized that, and they were like, as it turns out, we're not bringing Do Not Open into VR. We're going to make Overdark, and we're going to change everything up and make a completely different VR game set in the same world. And I was like, that was a brilliant idea, and I think they did a good job.
Yeah, no, we got a great VR game out of that deal. It was something that they never really intended to do originally. They did the right thing. They just made another game and it was a good one. I mean, was it game of the year? No, but it's one of the better uh games of that genre. It's like a true like Resident Evil classic style, horror puzzler, and it's got some really creepy moments in it. That game actually came to Quest, I think, during my hiatus. So I wonder how it is on that platform. Uh, it's a good
Even
looking
more
game on PlayStation. So
even more curious to know how it's sold on Quest. This has been the big question recently, right? This is a big question with Arcanage coming to Quest, and Madison came to Quest, and all these games. It's like I want to know how they sold, right? Because we just hear over and over, the games sell better on PSVR 2. Is that going to continue to be the case? I mean, I selfishly kind of hope so, but I want these studios to succeed as well, so I want their sales to thrive everywhere.
well, I've said this in a couple of different areas over the last couple of weeks. I don't know if I've said it on air or not, but I think we are finally starting to see some market correction here and developers starting to realize what the situation is
Yeah.
and how the negative effect that Quest 2 had on the market, the false assumptions that people had. I think we're starting to see a resurgence in PSVR 2. I know for a fact there's a resurgence on Steam VR. And basically, we're getting back to where we were before Quest came along. Developers can make the money they made back then on the platforms they made it on back then because the players that want to play real VR games are coming back.
And then the tertiary headline. We never have tertiary headlines, but look at this. We do. Wes and Brian's Guide to Horror. This was like the biggest reason I wanted to bring up this thumbnail, to be like, man, we've been doing this for so long together, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. We look back 3 years to the day, and here we are talking about our Guide to Horror. I'm assuming we went beyond gaming, because we got all sorts of stuff like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was. I think we talked more about movies, honestly, than we talked about games. I do believe I remember that conversation. I don't remember the Half-Life Alex conversation or the Do Not Open conversation. I do think I remember that one. We talked about a lot of movies.
Yeah, which is great, man. Like I hope it was a good conversation. Somebody go back and check that shit out if you get some time on your hands, and let me know if it was any good. How long have we been doing this together for? If this is 3 years ago.
Yeah, I often wonder this question. I don't know. It's been 3 or 4 years. Like that would have been probably early days. So it was it would have been, it was shit. It was shortly after. No, it wasn't. It was
it's
PSVR2.
Yeah.
PSVR2 had been announced, but it still had like over a year and a half later after I joined the channel was when PSVR2 come out. So it would have been 2021, late 2021 maybe.
Right. The goal was, if I remember correctly, to be like, okay, while we have downtime, let's develop these reports with each other and get really good at this. While there's no interest in VR, and then when PSVR2 launches, we'll be good at this. And I'm still waiting to get good.
Yeah. I think it was 2021, like late in the year 2021. Around I want to say like Song of the Smoke came out around that time. It came out before I joined, but just before I joined. Yeah, we were because I remember specifically expecting PSVR2 to come out the following year, which was 2022, and when we didn't get it until 2023. So yeah, it would have had to been 2021, late, like Q3, Q4.
It's been, what a long, strange trip it's been.
Indeed. And we're just getting started, ladies and gents.
Fuck yeah, we are. Well, we'll see. I change my mind about it daily. Anyway, you guys are fucking awesome. Thank you. This is like the longest post-credit scene of